To go on and on and on about the merits of the program, because we're going to be talking about that hopefully eventually when we get to the motion, and I do have some questions for you, Mike, so I'll reserve them for that point. But at this point, I thank you, Ira, for what you said. You said everything I needed to say. And so I'm going to just concur with him and say we must, I am going to vote against this amendment to this motion. We must have a lot in Venice. That was one of my main concerns about what you presented the last time, Councilmember Rosendahl, and we have to be able to serve the people in our community. And so I am not for this amendment, and I'm going to pass this off to Yvonne and stop.
Thank you. First of all, I want to commend you, Councilman Rosendahl, for finding a lot in Venice. I would have liked to have seen more lots. So I definitely believe that that lot is a great lot because of the fact that it's not facing anyone's home. They have the whole park, Penmar Park, across from there. And basically, the only time that you'll see the people that you're actually treating like lepers, some of you, they're people that have, a lot of them have actually served for our country, and so I really want to say that this is the lot. I also think that perhaps we might, for the future, look into the lots that, the couple of lots that LAPD didn't like, only because I believe that perhaps those lots, now that we're working with a security company, or will be working with a security company with these lots, that maybe they can assist them with some of the problems that they have there. So I'm opposed to this motion. So I look forward to moving on to the meat and potatoes and actually vote so that we can move forward. And you all have worked really hard. The people that have worked on the Venice Neighborhood Council in the past to have this to work on having this program here. So let's do it. Let's get it. Let's make it a reality.
10, 11. How many abstentions? 1, 2 abstentions, 3 abstentions. The motion fails.
I didn't vote. Oh, no, you. Did you count yourself?
Right there, I said
That's 11, that's good.
2, 11, 3.
2, 11, 3.
one person's left. Okay.
Oh, that's 16.
So now we're going back to the main motion, which is to approve the ordinance as amended, which does include the Penmar Park, and now we're going to open it up for public comment. We have a lot of people who signed up to speak for it. I'm going to call you 5 at a time. Do get a minute. I'm sorry the board asked for more time each, but we just...
I move to postpone it indefinitely.
How does it feel not to be heard, to have these things happen in our neighborhood, in our community? How does it feel to not be heard, and to have these things happen to you from your neighbor to neighbor, from one street to the other, no matter where you walk your dog, no matter where you go get your cup of coffee? How does it feel? Write this down. I've said it before, parking variances. The money that the city is collecting for parking structures within 2 miles of any development. It's been taking 3 years. You know what? It's going to take longer. I say table the whole thing because obviously it's not the right thing to do. So why are you voting on it? It's short 2 gas chambers because you can't do this, you can't do that, you can't do this, you can't do that. Really, what are we doing here? Think about what you're voting on. I thought we were better neighbors than that. Simultaneously, we should be going after the real criminals instead of criminalizing the poor. The developers who are not within honoring the letter of the law of the Mellow Act. Say it with me, Mellow Act. Okay, so write it down, get your Blackberries out and your little iPhones and your little computers and stick it where it really counts. The developers who are millionaires on our backs. The indigent, the unemployed, and the working poor.
Thank you. We're a large homeless community, and for the past 2 years, the Neighborhood Council has funded a grant for PATH to reach out to our homeless to connect them with services. $5,000 last year, $8,000 this year. It was the Neighborhood Council funds that made it possible for the family of 7 to be contacted and assisted by PATH. This is an example of what the Roadmap to Homes programs will be. The Westchester Playa support is motivated by a desire to help the homeless in our community first. It is not a request for any neighboring communities to send their homeless. The Neighborhood Council support of this ordinance is conditioned upon a site to be established in Venice, and that homeless families in Westchester Playa be given first priority to the Westchester program. Thank you. Okay.
First of all, please push this through. Second of all,
if this program works, then we really need to pressure the county to give us those lots at the beach. I live at the beach. I live at the beach. I've been there. My husband's been there 22 years. I've been there going on 13. I have homeless people all around me just like Ira does. There's not RVs right there, but you know what? They're right on my front doorstep. They're right in my window. I know them by name. So you know what? The beach is a huge lot. So let's get this pilot thing going. Let's show that it works. And then we can expand and maybe have the beach lot where it doesn't impact a lot of people that are upset. And then also, Bill, we need to push that Mellow Act and enforce it, like Lydia just said. Because if the Mellow Act was enforced, we'd have more living in Venice. We all know there's a ton of places in Venice that are not being enforced by the Mellow Act. All right? So all that has to work together. So please, board, push it through. All right? Thank you.
Thank you, Colleen. Happy about Is it happy? No. Then Sean
Miss Aguilar, for your amendment. I'm deeply saddened that it did not pass. I'm very involved in my neighborhood. I know for a fact that this clause that talks about a community liaison to answer questions, this is the same thing that happened with the St. Joseph Center that came in like a thief in the night and forced residents to call on incidents and make complaints. Residents had to go on record, and the policing of that program and this program is on the burden of residents, and that's not fair. I'm very concerned that nobody has discussed sex offenders and Megan's Law, and I'm very concerned that where will the participants go during locked hours? There's no sunset clause, there's no reporting requirement, and I think that there needs to be. I just wanted to make attention again that it says the program staff will respond to residents' concerns and participants will seek to resolve them promptly. This doesn't work. I have lived it firsthand. I have been accosted by the homeless. I have had all the things happen to me. I have children. We walk the streets. I have these problems. I've seen it firsthand. I'm on a first name basis from Craig White to all the SLOs in my neighborhood. If you are putting the burden on residents to police, it is unfair. Police, it is unfair.
I've been a member of the Venice community since 1994. Taking a little offense at being notified on Saturday by a flyer. I must have missed your coming to my house, but I saw the flyer. So I'm from Chicago, and I'm used to quick, shady politics, and this certainly reminds me of this. Slip something in at the last minute and then just rush it right through. And you want a solution. I would rather see the RVs park on the Lincoln Place streets that are basically abandoned right now that have security there. There's a private film crew that's renting out the lot there. They park over 40 vehicles of all shapes and sizes. I'd rather have them there than ruin a golf course and a park and something that's there for my community. Thank you.
I play golf at the Penmar golf course quite a bit, and I've played golf in Los Angeles for many years. And what I'm basically concerned about is the security of the golf course, and not. It seems like everybody's kind of, in my mind, has missed this business of everybody wants to blame the people who might be living in the RVs, and they say they might cause problems and they might not. I'm more concerned about the vandalism, the potential for vandalism from people who don't even live, in these RVs, who come here from some other thing, because these guys over here talked about security guards. Well, are they going to be there, 14 hours? Always? If that's true, then it'll probably, from the golf course security part, it'll probably work out, but I don't know. They ruined Rancho a number of years ago, and it cost hundreds of thousands of dollars to fix. So, golf course security.
I've lived at my address since 1964. I've watched the whole progress or the progression of campers sleeping in the streets, and I was one of the people instrumental in getting them banned from sleeping alongside the golf course. And we did it not because we're mean people, but because these people were shitting in the street, they were peeing in the street, they were running around naked, they were drinking booze and breaking bottles, and they were doing everything except what good, nice neighbors should do. Worldwide, we have to put up with that kind of thing. If you want to be a good neighbor, that's great, but it's never going to happen. And when we did what we did, they moved down to the other side of Lincoln. Now there's a big hue and cry to the other side of Lincoln, and you try to push it back here again. And again, like somebody said, why is this thing been snuck through like this? This is like in the middle of the night. 2 days ago, we finally get a notice about something. Why is it? It's almost like 15's good. That's nice. It's almost like you don't even want our input. You made your minds up before you got started. And one more thing. I'd like to know who's going to be paying for the security people. I haven't heard yet where this money's going to come from.
You'll hear that in a minute.
President, I was very active in the opposition to the St. Joseph's situation, which was shoved down our throats. I hear these comments about, well, if Venice doesn't participate, we're just going to not do anything, and I view that as an offensive threat. Venice is already having overburdened in services that we have to provide. We were lied to and continue lied to by the St. Joseph Center. I live near the golf course, and basically the hours for these campers are going to be 8:30 p.m. to 5 a.m. Does anybody here seriously believe that that's going to be enforced? That security is going to start knocking on their windows at 4:45 saying you have to get out of here? I see people shake their heads, but I've seen this before. It isn't going to happen. And if you think it's going to happen, you're very mistaken. And when it doesn't happen, is the Venice Council going to step up and say, hey, the rules aren't being followed? Well, we'll have to wait and see. It didn't happen with St. Joseph's. It hasn't happened with St. Joseph's. And I don't see it happening here. The bottom line is we have to do something for the homeless. This isn't the right spot.
I propose calling these parking sites what they truly are. Please listen, people. They are shelters. They are temporary mobile shelters. This is a term recognized in the social service industry and used by past President Joel, who coined the term for me, mobile shelters, in a meeting held in March. He then went on to define shelter. It's any facility, the primary purpose of which is to provide temporary or transitional shelter for the homeless in general or for specific populations of the homeless. I believe the public has a right to know what is being asked of them. Do you want a homeless shelter in your neighborhood? That's what we're proposing with all of this. This is why, again, I asked for a few minor safeguards to be implemented in this flawed ordinance. Not in residential neighborhoods. From the beginning, it was stated 300 feet away from residences. Community should choose the sites and give us the veto power. I believe that the city must petition surrounding streets and achieve a 67% rate of acceptance to allow these shelters at these shelter sites. This is what was asked of us, the residents of Venice, to implement these OVO signs, which have not yet been fully implemented. Again, put time limits on parking sites and vehicles enrolled in this program. Nothing permanent unless the community wants it. We want repercussions for problem sites, where the community can easily remove these sites. Again, see, I'm using sites. These are shelters that affect their neighborhood. And no outdoor furniture has been omitted again. In the beginning, we were saying there would be no outdoor furniture. Now, outdoor furniture is allowed. And then tonight, porta potties. Arturo told me. This is very important. Arturo told me that if a vehicle had restroom facilities, then that wouldn't be a problem. They would not. Then the other places, they would have to have restroom facilities to provide for cars. Now you guys are throwing porta potties in.
Sean, they'll answer that question.
Have been hurt by the police, by people in this community. We've been hurt. We've got people have hurt our vehicles, put shit in clothes and given it to us, put shit by our cars, done things to, old people that are living in their cars that all have passed away because they couldn't go through the shit that was happening to them. The people that stood up for us, there was a little girl involved. The police didn't care at all about her life. her life could have been lost all over this because you people don't like the homeless. You know, I mean, what is that? If that's not prejudice, I don't know what it is. I think you really, really, really... I'm a Christian. I believe everybody should believe in whatever they want to believe, but Jesus was homeless, and I thank God he was. Because you better think about it. Because you think about what you would do if Jesus walked into this town.
Thank you. Ryan Raines?
Ryan Raines. I live at Glen Avon Avenue. Is that better? Yeah. Glen Avon Avenue. Glen Avon Avenue is at the east end of the Penmar Golf Course. There's about 10 homes that face the golf course. We've been there for 17 years. Some people have been there for 30, 40, 50 years. I do not believe that security that you're talking about in any way can do the job. No way. Marissa, if it wasn't for you dropping off that leaflet Saturday, I wouldn't be here, and neither would people from our block. We're really concerned, and not just for our block, the surrounding area. You've got to really think hard about this. There's a nice young gentleman sitting in the back with a toilet around his neck. We don't want our neighborhood looking like that. It's very simple.
We do. We don't. We do.
Okay, real quick, earlier, you mentioned that the police department had 2 of the sites that you wanted the parking. They don't want you to be there because of vandalism. Was that correct?
Crime.
Because of the crime. It had been cleaned up, and they purposely do not want it coming back. So what does that say? We're just going to be a test, I guess. Would that be it? See what happens?
Yeah.
Pilot. Well, we don't want it. We do not want it, and we are bad people. We love Venice.
Parking program in Santa Barbara, and I want to say, wow, what a divided audience we have here. I've never felt so much, animosity in a room before. First of all, I was homeless 20 years ago for 4 years with my daughter in Santa Barbara, and here I am today. Somebody gave me a chance. The homeless people are human beings. They are not lepers and criminals. All I hear is about your security and your cops. We run a program, we have 23 lots, and we run a program. We don't have any security guards. We have a monitor and ourselves, and we have been successful. I really suggest it is everyone's problem, this homeless issue. If you want to blame somebody, blame the federal government, okay? But we are in this together, and if we don't start working together on this issue, it is going to get so complicated that there won't be any help for anybody. So I say, give it a chance. I mean, one lot? Give it a chance, people. Wake up and help somebody. Where is your human compassion?
So that we can include the lots that were identified to meet the 50-foot rule.
Is there a second to that motion? There's no second to that motion, so that motion dies. Cindy seconds that motion.
All right, public comment.
All right, then we need, I would just have public comment. You want to speak to that motion, please line up.
Perhaps we could find some other options besides parking lots.
Here we go again. You know, the room's empty, and you're pulling this stuff at the last minute. You wonder why there's so much anger between the two sides. It's not a black and white issue. There is so much gray area that we've all reached out and come together and worked together to get here. And then you destroy that by doing these shenanigans. Linda, you did it at the last special meeting by throwing in Beyond Baroque's lot with no public, what do you call it, without any outreach. This is ridiculous. You cannot do that. Well, I'm just so angered that we would get a second on this.
Thank you.
Thank you for seconding. Thank you for seconding.
David Ewing. I did bring this up earlier, so we're cool, right? I just want to address the motion, which I think maybe increases the flexibility, and I would love if Mike Bonin could address that question of flexibility, if.
In addition, eventually, in addition to the Penmar lot, how would you talk about that in terms of being flexible?
Anything the board does tonight will, I presume, be communicated to the council office and taken under advisement. I will say that because of the initial startup costs with security for the different lots, there's a capacity to the number of different lots that PATH can manage as we start.
Motion. I think you need to expand this program and you need to make it more humane. You know, what is going on now is a vigorous enforcement of 8502 while people like Joe over here do whatever they can to delay any of our alternatives, because they would have let 8502 do the work of putting out the homeless and putting the poor out of Venice. This is a very important question because in America, as we see today, more and more is becoming a few rich people at the top and increasingly poor people. There have been poor people, or there have been people that have been homeless because they have alcohol and drug problems. More and more, we have poor people, homeless people, because they have economic problems. A system that works for the few against the many. So this is a question we need to take up, because if the direction we're going in with this is to take more and more people and put them in camps and parole-like organizations for being nothing more than poor.
Oh, come on. Thanks for the amendment, because, I mean, one lot. It doesn't, there's all these people that were here, that were living on the street. You don't have enough vouchers right now. It only makes sense that it should be opened up for the possibility of more lots. If the Penmar people don't want it all stuck in Penmar, maybe we should just open it up for the possibility of the other lots that are, whatever, fit those rules, the 50-foot rules. I think it's an excellent amendment. And it doesn't have to specify the lots, it could just open it up to the possibility.
Yeah, I think we can do this really quick. I think there's a difference between people who want to move forward and get progress on this issue and people who just do want to come up with reasons to stall it. I think that this amendment would make it more likely for the program to move forward. It will give the folks in Penmar a chance to address the issue, and if alternative, this won't lock this ordinance into the Penmar Park. Please accept this ordinance.
Yeah, I want to thank God for Yvonne, first of all. And this is about us wanting to be in Venice. This is our community. I've been here since I was 18. I'm 58. You know, this is my home. We're not staying here in RVs because we want to live in RVs someplace else. We're staying here because we want to be in Venice. We're a part of Venice. We've put our hearts and souls into Venice. I've been an artist on the boardwalk painting the beach for 30 years. I raised my
include the lots that are within the 50-foot parameters.
You say potentially include, so that...
Okay, that we potentially include, or let's say potentially include, so that we to expedite the voting process. Yes.
Okay, now I'm opening this up. Two opposed, 2 for, and the rest are abstentions.
That's too many people.
What was that?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9,
11, 12, 13, you have 15 altogether. You can start, do it again.
All those in favor of the motion, raise your hand. Of the amendment. 1, 2. All those opposed, raise your hand. Keep them up till we get you counted. 1, 2, 3.
I got my hand up.
9. All those abstaining. 1. Now we're going back to the original motion, which is, as Ira suggested, which was on the table from the beginning of the night. It's on your agenda is a motion to approve the ordinance 8511 or Council File 110398 as amended in the letter dated April 7th, 2011, which is in your packet. Okay, is there discussion on this agenda item? I'm going to start with Ira since it's his motion. Hold those hands up if you're in favor and keep them up.
7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Okay, I got 11, 12. I got 12 yeses.
Opposed?
13. I've got 2. No, I got 2 no's and 1 abstain. Okay. You need a motion to adjourn, yes?
No, I know we have another agenda item.
No, we don't. Public comment.